Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 204 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Here's what's coming up in today's show. This week's Y-Files explores weird animals at the bottom of the ocean that challenge our understanding of life.
In our Noteworthy segment, we'll tell you about an historic declawing ban in California, signed into law by Governor Newsom.
And in our main topic, is the right using animal advocacy to sway left-leaning voters? But before we get into all that, what have we been up to?
Not a whole lot, really. It's been a very kind of same old kind of week.
It is, since our Veg Fest season is over for us.
Yes.
We are recording this episode earlier than we usually do because we have some exciting guests coming on our normal recording day. We're thankfully being able to return the favor to our friends from Syracuse, the Capellos, who were coming from a trip abroad, not really abroad.
No, not abroad. That would not make any sense.
A trip where they're in another state and they're coming through and they were looking for a place to stay. And I said, sure, you can crash here. So that's exciting. But so we're recording a little earlier than we normally do. Today is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems a little odd.
It's very strange.
Yeah. Also, we have a family get-together on Sunday, which is tomorrow.
Yes.
My sister's making a vegan potato soup.
Gotta love potato soup.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, should be fabulous.
So nothing else going on?
Really, nothing else.
We're so boring.
You know, we are pretty boring, actually. And you know what? I don't mind.
I don't mind either.
I think that's just fine.
Well, let's just jump in then. Here's this week's Y-Files. Scientists have found weird animals at the bottom of the ocean. And like I said, they're challenging our understanding of life and what life is. Researchers diving almost 10,000 meters deep into the Pacific Ocean found tube worms and mollusks that get their energy from chemical reaction, they say. That suggests that life is able to prosper in more extreme environments than we realized, researchers say, and that there could be many more such strange animals waiting to be found. Some researchers have even suggested that studying life that thrives in such extreme environments could help us understand where and how alien life might be found elsewhere in the universe. When organisms live in extreme environments, they must find different ways to produce energy. Some of them use chemosynthesis, which gather their energy from chemical reactions rather than the light-based photosynthesis that supports the life we see around us. Many of those chemosynthesis-based communities can be found deep under the sea, thriving in the hydrogen sulfide and methane that seep up from the floor. Researchers have now found such life deep in the ocean after an expedition that saw them climb into a submersible and examine 2,500 kilometers of trenches in the Northwest Pacific. So this is interesting, right?
It's very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Plants that can survive by different processes than we are accustomed to up here on Earth.
I know. And I love that they're talking about this opening up new ideas about what we believe about alien life forms.
It is interesting. It is interesting. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how that connects.
Well, I think what they're saying is because a lot of times we consider life is only viable like on a planet or something like that if there's signs of water or oxygenation of any kind.
Sure. So in order to consider a place habitable, it would need to have a similar ecosystem to our own.
That's the general idea when they're like, oh, there might be water or there's water, like old water molecules or evidence of water molecules found in rocks, like on Mars and stuff. Then that would lead them to believe that there was a time where it could have sustained life. But if these creatures and other animals that live deep, deep, deep into the ocean are using this other way of accessing energy where they don't need photosynthesis, right? I think it's really cool.
Well, I mean, it's also interesting knowing that these organisms are thriving on hydrogen sulfide and methane, both of which we consider to be rather toxic gases that have a negative impact on our ecosystem because of global warming and the fact that they contribute significantly to global warming.
Right.
But here, all of a sudden, is a potential positive for these gases.
And like other planets, like Saturn and Mercury, and a lot of those planets have like these high methane heavy atmospheres, right?
Right.
So it does kind of let your imagination run wild that, hey, maybe there are alien creatures living on other planets that we can't get to, and we're just not aware of it because we always consider that you need to have an oxygenated atmosphere in order to sustain life.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting. It definitely puts a new spin on things.
Yeah. Let's move on to our noteworthy segment. This is good news.
Yes, this is awesome. Victory! Historic declawing ban signed by California Governor Gavin Newsom. California Governor Gavin Newsom recently signed Assembly Bill 867 into law, officially banning the cruel practice of declawing cats statewide. This groundbreaking legislation is the culmination of years of advocacy by groups as well as powerful support from local communities across California. Declawing isn't a nail trim. It's a painful amputation that has no place in a compassionate society. Declawing involves the removal of the last bone of a cat's toes. This is equivalent to amputating a human fingertip at the last joint. The procedure often results in lifelong pain, arthritis, infections, and behavioral issues, including problems with litter box use and biting. For many cats, the trauma continues long after the surgery, and many are abandoned at shelters due to these painful side effects.
Bosco likes this story.
He does. He's got a lot to say about this.
What do you think about the declawing ban there, Bosco? Okay, he agrees.
California has become the largest state to implement a full ban on declawing, following in the footsteps of Rhode Island to become the fifth no-declaw state after Rhode Island, New York, Maryland, and Massachusetts, which have also passed effective declaw prohibitions. In Defense of Animals has long supported this legislative push, this year organizing over 3,000 emails from supporters to their lawmakers in the House and the Senate, and nearly 1,000 emails directly to Newsom, urging him to sign the bill into law. This victory proves California is leading the way in protecting cats and prioritizing their well-being over human convenience. We are proud to have empowered thousands of compassionate Californians to make their voices heard on this issue. California has long been a leader in animal protection, and today's signing of AB 867 further cements the state's commitment to compassion and ethical treatment of animals. Assemblymember Alex Lee, who authored the bill, has worked tirelessly to ensure that no cat in California will be subjected to this cruel practice unless it is medically necessary to address an underlying condition. Many countries have also outlawed this inhumane practice. AB 867 shows the nation and world that California does not endorse surgical mutilation performed electively on healthy cats for human convenience. The law is a direct result of the collaboration between animal welfare groups and compassionate California residents, whose voices pushed the bill through the legislative process. Humane Veterinary Medical Alliance and PAW Project have played pivotal roles in educating both lawmakers and the public about the harmful consequences of declawing and advocating for alternatives. But we could not have done it without our dedicated supporters. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Newsom.
Yes, indeed. That is wonderful.
Yeah, as if we needed another reason to like Gavin Newsom.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good guy.
He seems like a good guy.
Seems like a good guy.
Well, I'm really happy to read about this. It does kind of make me think, though, all these people like rallying behind this, all these compassionate people rallying behind this clawing ban don't seem to consider what goes on with farmed animals.
No. There's definitely a disconnect.
Yeah, there's definitely some speciesism, whether it's intentional or unintentional.
I would imagine that in most cases, the speciesism is probably both unintentional and unwitting.
Yeah.
It's just not something that a lot of people think about. The idea that, if, removing a third of a cat's toes is potentially problematic, then what happens when, a pig is castrated without anesthesia, or when a chicken is forced to go through debeaking, again, without anesthesia?
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes because those things aren't seen and because those things don't necessarily impact people on a day-to-day basis, whereas the health and well-being of their companion animals most certainly does.
Yeah.
That it gets missed.
Yeah, totally. And if you even mention declawing a cat without using any sort of pain relief, people would go crazy, right? I
think there would be some serious objections raised, yes.
When that goes on a daily basis in farmed animals with tail docking and castration and like Sam said, the debeaking and all that. I just find it interesting that so many people rally behind bills like this without considering all the other animals on our planet that are being mutilated.
Certainly, but again, it goes back to that idea that if slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be vegan.
It's true. People need to, I guess, make themselves aware. Most people who aren't vegan, we weren't vegan all of our lives.
No.
You're willingly blind to what goes on in farmed animal operations, right?
Yes, there's actually a wonderful book called Willful Blindness.
Yeah. And I'm sure that some of us who haven't been vegan all of our lives remember a time when somebody may have mentioned something about what goes on in CAFOs and farmed animal operations, and you said out loud, I don't want to know. Don't talk about it.
Sure. I mean, yes, I think that is it's kind of a natural response for a lot of people, because yes, I think knowing then requires them to address what they know and what they plan to do about it, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of being vegan advocates is broaching those subjects with non-vegans in a way that they'll accept the information, right?
For sure.
Where they won't turn away and go, no, don't tell me about it. I don't want to hear about it. It upsets me. So,
well, and I would then follow up with, well, it should upset you.
Yeah.
It is upsetting.
Yeah.
Just the fact that these practices exist is upsetting. So let's not run screaming from the things that upset us. Let's actually confront those things.
And try and do something
and
about
try
it.
to change them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that is a wonderful segue into what we're talking about in our main topic.
This is coming to us from Politico. Animal welfare is now part of RFK Jr.'s MAHA agenda.
And if you're not familiar, MAHA is the Make
America Healthy Again.
Yeah.
The health secretary has made phasing out animal testing part of his Make America Healthy Again plan. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has asked his agencies to refine high-tech methods of testing chemicals and drugs that don't involve killing animals. He thinks that phasing out animal testing and using these new methods will help figure out what's causing chronic disease. It's also got an ancillary benefit for Republicans. Animal rights advocates like what they're hearing. That's another opportunity for President Donald Trump to co-opt a traditionally left-leaning constituency. No one likes to see suffering. Emily Trunnell, Director of Science Advancement and Outreach at People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, told Politico, the animal welfare benefits are very obvious to most people. Last week, the National Institutes of Health announced it would spend $87 million on a new center researching alternatives to animal testing and permit agency-supported researchers to use grant funding to find homes for retired lab animals. Kennedy signed off because he thinks the new methods will enable scientists to more quickly and inexpensively draw conclusions about how chemicals and drugs work. He expects that'll confirm his belief that chemicals in the environment and in food are making Americans sick, and also speed cures for chronic diseases like cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. Human-based technologies and non-animal models are the answer to MAHA. Nicole Kleinstroyer, the National Institutes of Health official managing the effort for Kennedy, told Politico, "They are the tools that are actually going to give us the insights to tackle chronic disease." The new center will attempt to develop a standardized alternative to animal testing that relies on tiny lab-grown 3D tissue models, enlisting help from across the NIH and the Food and Drug Administration, which regulates pharmaceuticals. Harnessing science and technology to protect animals isn't an obvious Trump agenda item, but the president has a pattern of taking ideas from the left and repackaging them for his base, to great success, an impulse best illustrated by Trump's embrace of Kennedy's health-focused movement. Some scientists have criticized the plan because they don't think the new testing methods can replace animals anytime soon, and worry that moving too fast could undermine important research on human health. While new methods could complement or reduce animal testing, so far they cannot replace animal studies entirely, says Naomi Charalambakis, who directs science policy and communications at Americans for Medical Progress, an advocacy group that supports responsible animal testing in biomedical research. Ironically, the plan for the new center has also gotten some blowback from a faction of conservatives, themselves animal rights advocates, who don't think the administration is moving fast enough and believe Kennedy's advisors are deliberately moving slowly to appease scientists. Laura Loomer, an unofficial advisor to Trump and MAGA influencer, is among them. She has joined forces with White Coat Waste, a conservative activist group that criticized then NIH official Anthony Fauci during the pandemic for government experiments on dogs, in pushing to end animal testing immediately, regardless of whether technology exists to replace it. Despite her misgivings, Loomer praised Trump's efforts so far and painted ending animal testing as a winning issue for the president. Combating taxpayer-funded animal testing is an issue that can completely shatter the Democrats' stronghold on the issue of animal welfare and animal rights, Loomer said. Trump has long believed bringing Kennedy and his MAHA enthusiasts into the GOP tent helped him win and will help Republicans in next year's elections. Loomer thinks more aggressively wooing animal lovers who oppose testing could help them too. A Morning Consult poll last year found more than 8 in 10 Americans want to phase out animal testing. Ballot initiatives supporting animal rights and animal advocacy groups have shown they can raise big money. Administration officials recognize their plan is popular. It's an issue that crosses all political lines and divides, Kleinstroyer said. You have so many people across both sides of the aisle that are very committed to advancing science, advancing biomedical research, and reducing the need or the use of animal models to the greatest extent possible. Trump wouldn't seem like the sort of guy PETA, which is known for its uncompromising advocacy, normally embraces. He's proposed weakening the Endangered Species Act, which protects animal habitats. He's limited public access to Department of Agriculture inspection and enforcement data. On a personal level, he eats meat and doesn't have a dog, one of the few presidents not to bring one into the White House. But looks can be deceiving, said Marty Irby, a Republican political consultant who's worked on animal rights issues for years. Trump, Irby pointed out, has signed no fewer than 6 animal rights laws, making animal cruelty a felony, creating national standards for horse racing, and criminalizing the slaughter of dogs and cats for meat. Animal welfare broadly has been part of the MAGA thing since Trump's first administration, Irby said. At his Florida resort, Mar-a-Lago, Trump has hosted fundraisers for animal welfare groups. Loomer said she picked up a 4th rescue dog there this spring during a Wags to Riches gala fundraiser. While his son, Donald Trump Jr., once traveled to Mongolia and killed a rare sheep, many in the president's inner circle are animal lovers, including other members of the first family, like Lara Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi, who brought rescue dogs to cabinet meetings when she was Florida's Attorney General. Trump's Commissioner of Food and Drugs, Marty Makary, met with PETA representatives in July, and the group sent NIH Director Jay Bhattacharya flowers this spring after he announced that the Health Research Agency would prioritize human-based research technologies to reduce the use of animals in experiments. Trunnell said PETA sees the end of a 45-year battle to end animal testing in sight. All other previous NIH directors have been frustratingly and very backwardly beholden to animal experimenters, seemingly wanting to protect them at all costs. And as soon as Jay Bhattacharya came in, he started making things happen in a better direction. Like Trump, Kennedy doesn't fit the traditional animal rights mold. His cousin, Caroline, criticized him during the 2024 campaign for blending up mice and baby chickens when he was younger to feed his hawks. But Kennedy does have a fascination with wildlife. In addition to dabbling in falconry, he kept an emu as a pet and once brought a whalehead home. As an environmental lawyer, he took on pig farmers, once telling an Iowa rally that large-scale hog producers are a greater threat to the United States and U.S. democracy than Osama bin Laden and his terrorist network. Most recently, Kennedy and former TV doctor Mehmet Oz, who oversees the nation's largest health insurance programs, publicly opposed Canada's plans to kill nearly 400 ostriches as a bird flu precaution. Canada's Supreme Court is deciding whether to take up the birds' case, while Oz offered to rehome them at his Florida ranch. The incorporation of Kennedy's Maha movement into Trump's fold shows how the president has repeatedly co-opted once Democratic constituencies to fuel his political rise, starting with working-class Rust Belt voters in 2016. While animal welfare has traditionally enjoyed stronger support in urban and suburban areas than rural ones, most Republicans are joining the movement, said Wayne Pacelli, president of Animal Wellness Action, which advocates against animal cruelty. Pacelli points to Georgia GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene's outspoken opposition to testing on dogs, and a letter House Republicans sent Bhattacharya this summer demanding that the NIH director end testing on dogs and cats. Any cause that is very successful politically is a nonpartisan one, right? He said. But while older advocacy groups like PETA are wooing Kennedy's aides, a newer breed of right-wing animal lovers fears Bhattacharya and Kleinsteuer are deliberately slow-walking the shift away from animal testing in deference to scientists who want to continue killing animals. When Justin Goodman, Senior Vice President of Advocacy and Public Policy at White Coat Waste, joined Loomer as a guest on her podcast, Loomer Unleashed, this summer, they pointed to an NPR interview in which Kleinsteuer said animal studies were often scientifically justified and that the agency didn't plan to phase them out overnight. "What's her name?" Loomer asked Goodman. "We want to put her on blast." After the show, Kleinsteuer received death threats, she said. In September, Loomer dispatched a colleague to confront Bhattacharya outside of the National Conservatism Conference. While Goodman said his group categorically opposes threats and violence, he believes the aggressive tactics are effective. Neither Kennedy nor Trump need to worry about the concerns of the scientific establishment, he said, and neither should their advisors. The only reason you're not doing the right thing here is because you're concerned with upsetting a constituency that President Trump really does not care about satisfying, which is big science.
So what do you think about this? Do you think that they're just courting left-leaning animal advocates with this information, or are they wholeheartedly against animal testing?
I don't know. I don't have enough information. I don't think we can discern what their real motive is from a single article.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that the right is taking a traditionally left-leaning issue that just about everyone can get behind in theory.
In theory, yeah.
I don't think there's anyone who really loves the idea of testing on animals.
Right.
some might recognize it as a necessary evil in some ways. But I'm not sure that there's anyone who actually thinks, yeah, animal testing is great. I'm so excited that I get to get up in the morning and torture animals for a living.
Right.
I have enough faith in humanity
yeah.
to think that very few people would actually think that. And so, of course, that makes the issue no longer left-leaning, but more of a centrist issue. So by all means, the right can take a centrist issue and think that maybe, just maybe, they'll swing some left-leaning voters with that single issue.
And people are critical of PETA when they get behind things like this that are going on in the Trump administration, because it makes them look like single-issue organizations, right? When they kind of are a single-issue organization. But in the grand scheme of things, anytime you see an organization like PETA praising things that are coming out of the Trump administration, it really gets people's hackles up.
Well, I understand that. I really do, because we do think of PETA as a not just left-leaning, but in some cases radical organization.
Yeah.
And so to have them even nominally supporting something coming out of a far-right administration is a little disconcerting. But I would say that, honestly, I don't think this issue, the issue of animal testing, should be political.
It absolutely shouldn't be. You know, I don't think that the Department of Health and Human Services should be political.
No, it shouldn't.
But they certainly are making it that way.
Well, yes, and that's unfortunate, is that most of our public agencies right now are being politicized.
Yeah.
But no, Health and Human Services, the National Institutes of Health, the CDC, all of these organizations should not be political. They are meant to work in the public interest.
Yeah.
Whether the people you're talking about are Democrat, Republican, something else, whether they're gay, straight, black, white, brown, vegan, non-vegan, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Their job is to present the best possible information that they can in the interest of public health.
Yeah. And this does seem to be just going down the same path that RFK Jr. always goes down, where he wants to eliminate something without having a backup plan.
Yes, we were just talking about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That eliminating something, and you know what? I would love it if animal testing ended tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I also fully acknowledge that research in terms of human disease needs to continue.
Yeah, and there needs to be a plan in place before he starts, disassembling all of the researchers and the research that's being done currently.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that there needs to be a plan in place before current research is abandoned in favor of new models.
Yeah.
Do I think we will be better off using human tissue and human volunteer subjects, et cetera, as case studies? Yes, absolutely. Because, of course, animal physiology, meaning non-human animal physiology, is not identical to human physiology. And so, therefore, non-human animal pathology will not be identical to human pathology.
Yeah.
So I think we will get better results. I think working on human subjects, of course, the regulation that needs to be put into place surrounding that is kind of unreal.
Yeah.
Like, just thinking about that is kind of astronomical. But
yeah. I mean, they're talking about this lab-grown 3D tissue thing, and I'm assuming that they mean human tissue.
Yes, I believe
and not animal tissue. That while that sounds
promising,
really promising, that needs to be in place and functioning before they start eliminating everything that's going on.
Yes.
And just the fact that the FDA and the NIH are kind of supposedly helping with that doesn't give me a lot of confidence that this is going to happen anytime soon.
That's fair.
Anytime anything's in the hands of the FDA, it takes a millennia for anything to really happen.
This is true.
So
they are historically very slow moving.
Yeah, unless of course it's pushing through drugs that their cronies are trying to sell.
Yes.
That, on the other hand, they can do overnight.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is just more RFK craziness, or if it's a combination of RFK craziness and other people in Trump's camp thinking that this is a good way to sway some left-leaning voters.
Well, and it may be a bit of both. Yeah. And the way I think of it, it's like, okay, I don't believe that these new processes that RFK is talking about actually exist in a functional form. There's no plan in place for what comes next. But if over time they were able to put plans in place and they were able to, if not completely eradicate, then at least certainly reduce reliance on animal testing, then those are steps in the right direction. And I really don't care who makes that happen.
Yeah.
I really don't. Because again, it should not be political.
No, none of this should be political. And why are we hearing from Laura Loomer, who is an unofficial advisor to the president of the United States? Why do we ever hear anything from her? She's nobody. She hasn't been elected. She hasn't been appointed.
You know that doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. Laws? What laws?
She's a celebrity.
Yeah. Anyway, this is interesting. And I know I keep saying everything's interesting today.
You do.
I don't know why. It's intriguing to me that these ideas that RFK is coming up with, that a lot of them animal rights people are kind of getting behind. And I think that people should be very leery and very cautious before they get behind. You know, like PETA, don't send flowers. You know?
I find it really interesting that you're taking issue with that single detail. I mean, who cares? They sent the man flowers, whatever.
It just, I don't know. It just kind of, it rubs me the wrong way.
No, I understand that. I do. But at the same time, you know, like I said, if things moving forward affect positive change, fine. I don't care that it comes out of an administration that I don't approve of. Because good things can come out of things that you don't approve of.
That's true. You know,
just as bad things can come out of administrations you do approve of.
Yeah. I mean, if they inadvertently did something good, that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Let's move on now to our Assignment Restaurant SOS.
This week, we're looking at Take Two Cafe, located at 433 State Street in Schenectady, New York. Take Two is owned by Chelsea Heilman, who also owned the recently closed Unbeatable, also in Schenectady. Heilman reportedly expressed that running two restaurants was limiting her time with family and that she needed to make a change. That's understandable.
Yeah, totally.
Take Two is a plant-based cafe offering burgers, chili, waffles, tacos, salads, sandwiches, and more.
We're really, really disappointed to hear that Unbeatable is closing because we just a couple of weeks ago,
we were just starting to plan a trip.
We were planning this kind of like a meetup kind of situation where we were going to take an Amtrak from Buffalo, stop in Rochester, pick up some vegans, stop in Syracuse, pick up some vegans. Head to Schenectady and go to Unbeatable.
Yes. Then, it was going to be a party. It was going to be fun.
Literally days after that, Chelsea let slip that she was closing. And she is closed now. Mm-hmm. I think this is like her final week of operation. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But alas, she does have another restaurant, Take Two, which I haven't heard a whole lot about.
I haven't either, but per their menu, okay, it's looking like a much more of a cafe format with breakfast and lunch. It doesn't look like they serve dinner, but they also have desserts. And I can tell you, I'm already excited about some of the things that I am seeing on the lunch menu.
Yeah, this restaurant looks much less labor intensive. Mm-hmm. The Unbeatable had like a full bar. Yeah. They had the arcade. There was a lot going on there. So I can't understand if she was feeling overwhelmed by all of it.
Oh, absolutely.
That she would let the other place go so that she could focus all her energies on this one place.
And oh my gosh, the picture of this breakfast sandwich.
Right?
I mean, that's just crazy. Breakfast sandwich, your choice of bagel or bread with just egg, cheddar cheese, sausage, bacon, add avocado and tomato. Or you can have the night out version, bacon, egg, cheddar cheese, cream cheese on red hot chili pepper bread. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. They also have what is pictured on their website. It's called the James Dean, which is a homemade biscuit with sausage, cheddar cheese, and sriracha maple mayo. And you can add just egg to that, which I absolutely would. It looks phenomenal.
That sounds really good.
It really does. I mean, come on, anything like a biscuit breakfast sandwich, that's kind of like the pinnacle of breakfast.
Yeah. They also have omelets. They have a bunch of specialty omelets, the Spicy Southwest, the Caprese, the classic, and they have build your own omelets where you can add all the vegetables, which is what Sam would do, and then add vegan sausage, vegan bacon, or vegan chorizo. And then you have your choice of cheeses. You can add cheddar, mozzarella, and feta.
I'm also immediately into the breakfast crane, which is cheese, seasoned potatoes, just egg, bacon, and sour cream on a crunchy tostada wrapped in a flour tortilla and grilled.
Oh, it's like a breakfast crunch wrap.
It is a breakfast crunch wrap.
That's
and there's another of those,
fantastic.
The Nikki which is a jerk seasoned potatoes, egg, sriracha sour cream, and pico de gallo wrapped in a flour tortilla and grilled.
Yeah, and their lunch options look really good too.
They do. They've got a Reuben.
I know.
Got a Reuben.
They do. They also have a vegan tuna salad sandwich.
Nice.
A curry chickpea sandwich, which sounds really good.
I do love a really good curried chickpea sandwich.
They have a triple-decker club.
And then they have Crane Street. So we were just talking about the breakfast crane.
Yeah.
Yes. The original crane is seasoned beef, refried beans, house-made cheese sauce, lettuce, tomato, and sour cream on a crunchy tostada wrapped in a flour tortilla and grilled. They also have a buffalo version, which includes buffalo seitan, buffalo ranch, lettuce, tomato, shredded carrot on a crunchy tostada wrapped and grilled. And then the Big Mac crane. Beyond Burger topped with American cheese, lettuce, onion, pickles, and secret sauce on a crunchy tostada wrapped in a flour tortilla and grilled.
Those sound delicious.
They really do.
Here's something fun. You can get 2 loaded hot dogs with meat sauce, onion, ketchup, and horseradish mustard. They call it the Dreamy Weenies.
You would get that just for the name.
The Dreamy Weenies.
They also totally get that.
They also
just
have
for the
something
name.
Called the Jackass, which is buffalo seitan, spring mix, tomato, carrot, shredded cheese, and buffalo ranch served in your choice of a wrap.
Yeah, so this looks beautiful.
A lot of yummy stuff on here. Cheesy G, easy. They also have desserts.
They do. All kinds of specialty cakes. You can do cakes made to order with 1 week's notice. And these include, oh my gosh, you could do a 9-inch 2-layer or a 5-inch 2-layer. Their flavors: vanilla, chocolate, marble, lemon, coconut, cinnamon swirl, almond funfetti, and toasted pecan. I would like that.
Yum.
All kinds of frosting flavors, plenty of fillings. You could really get very, very creative.
Yeah, and then they have a rotating selection of desserts in the case that you can get: cookies, donuts, scones, biscotti, cheesecake bars, and more.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, so we'll have to check this out. Maybe,
we really will.
Maybe we can put that train trip back on the
I think we
burner.
should. Let's start repercolating the idea of the train trip.
Yeah, if you live in the western or central or capital region of New York, reach out and let us know if you'd be interested
in this meetup.
I looked, and for people that are like in Syracuse, I don't think the train ticket would be very much at all.
No.
Because it's pretty inexpensive.
Even from here.
From Buffalo to Albany is very inexpensive.
And we're not going to Albany.
Yeah,
we're going to Schenectady.
To Schenectady would be even less. So yeah, if you have supported Take Two recently, please email us a picture of what you got and tell us all about it. And we'll enter you to win a gift card there in our vegan dinner winner contest.
Although in this case, it would probably be breakfast or lunch.
Well, yeah. But that doesn't rhyme, so.
It doesn't.
It's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout-out time.
It's listener shout-out.
Just want to give a shout-out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's listener shout-out goes out to Mad Sower, who recently subscribed to our weekly newsletter. Thanks for subscribing, Mad Sower.
Yes, please send us your t-shirt size and address so we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. Text us using the link in the show notes. Include your real name, Mad Sower, because I'm pretty sure that's not your...
As
they say, God-given name. You can email that information to us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram or Facebook.
And for the rest of you out there, if you want a listener shout out, please text, email, or DM us. Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can also always nominate someone else for a shout out.
You can. It's time to wrap this baby up. But before we go, I always like to remind you to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube. We're trying to grow our YouTube. Share the show with a friend or a family member that you think might enjoy what we do so we can reach more great people just like you. And if you want to get news about the show, you can do that by subscribing to our weekly newsletter at our website, which is compassionandcucumbers.com. Also, don't forget that if you listen to our show on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. 5 stars, please.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 204 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion on the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We do. Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.